What's going on, guys? It is Zuko, and today we are going to be talking about Vella. A few people asked me for this, so I guess here we go. I haven't made one of these in a while, so I might be a little sloppy, but nevertheless, let's get straight into it. So, um, first things first is we'll just talk about her skills. We're going to be talking about Twin Swords Vela. I do not know Twin Blades very well, so this is exclusively going to be for Twin Swords, which I just feel like is my personal playstyle. So, first active skill that you have here is Typhoon Slash. It's a really good skill. We'll talk about it in depth in a few seconds, but Typhoon Slash is basically one of your main damage dealers, but you have to use it in a certain way. Gusting is cool. I can never get that animation to happen, but these are the ones that I normally use here. This is actually a very important move. It's a move that is very overlooked, and I'll talk to you guys about this move in depth as well. This is just your basic slashes, and this is your dodge. Thunder Squall, again, your basic smashes and slashes, stuff like that, same thing. Blade Hard, we'll talk about that in depth in a second. Crosscut is your bread and butter. This is the main reason why you play Twin Swords Vela. So yeah, we'll talk about that one in depth as well. Cross Stance is also very cool. We'll talk about the properties of this and how it works and all of that stuff as well. So this is a very delicious move here. Slip Away, Backlash. This is basically your deflect. It's kind of outdated in my opinion. I've tried to make a deflect, but it doesn't work all the time, so we just kind of leave it as it is. But yeah, this is also a very good move if you can get it to work properly. But yeah, Deadly Storm, more of the same. Cross, we'll talk about that one. Berserker Spirit, this is one of your active skills. Basically gives you an attack buff. It's kind of not really that important. Once you get your gear up, you really never have to use it. Now, if you don't have an attack that's higher than the raids attack, then it actually could be useful. But for the most part, you don't need this. You never really use this. Slashing High, any build that has Slashing High, you know I'm gonna love it. Slashing High is awesome. We'll talk about that in a second as well. Wind Rider. Now, this move here is delicious. This is something that you're gonna kind of have to perfect in order to min-max your DPS, and we'll talk about that one in a second as well. Cyclone, this is your hold. So it has a few cool little tricks to it that we'll talk about as well. Swords Will. This is also a very cool active, and it's definitely going to help you to min-max your DPS as well. You just have to know how to use it. So Swords Will is a very good move, and you're going to want to use that as well. Gale Cutter is also one of your damage dealers. This is also a very important skill that you have to use pretty much every single time that you have the SP to do so. And again, there are some little neat tricks that you're going to need to know about this. Everything in Vela's kit is supposed to be used, and that's the reason why I say Vela is a good character. And let's get into the depths of this character. So the first thing that you have with Vela is your gusting here, which is if you tap it, it'll do this one quick one here. If you hold it down, you're gonna get a full stack of Blade Heart level 3. So let me just show you what all of that looks like. This here. So yeah, again, you hit it once, you'll just get the regular stack of Blade Heart. This is your regular, I just call this regular Blade Heart. Then you have your green level of Blade Heart. We'll talk about that in a second. And then you have your blue level of Blade Heart as well. Now, as you can see, it took a while to get that blue level of Blade Heart. So one of the quickest ways to do it, if you have a very limited time to get Blade Heart, would be to simply just to do this. Right, and then you automatically get that Blade Heart level 3. or just blue blade heart is what I call it. Another very quick way to get blade heart level 3 is to simply do this: left left right right, left left right right. That gives you blade heart level 3 really fast. Now what is important about blade heart level 3 is that anytime you are doing any of your smashes or your crosscuts, it gives you a damage boost. But not only that, blade heart level 3 gives you stamina back on every hit that you do, not just your smashes but every hit. And then on top of that, Vella hits many times, which you wouldn't think that she hits, which is the reason why I have her build a certain way. And on top of it, giving you better stamina management, better damage, it also gives you an attack speed boost, and it also gives you better SP as well. So you always want to be sitting in your blade heart level 3. Now, what is Sword's Will? This is your most important skill. You kind of want to basically proc this every single time that you get it off a cooldown. So what it does is, anytime that Vella gets hit, she loses a blade heart stack, right? So the blade heart blue level will basically be your max level. If you take a hit, you lose 1 stack. And some bosses have multi hits, so you can lose all your stacks just from 1 hit. It can hit multiple times if you catch what I'm saying. So whenever you proc Sword's Will, you can't lose your blue level of blade heart, which means you sit in it forever, which means you're constantly getting that plus 14 speed. You're constantly getting that that damage boost to your smashes and your crosscut, Gale cutter, every smash, any damage you do outside of your lights. And on top of that, you're always going to get that really juicy stamina management that just makes stamina management on this character pretty much non-existent. So that's also really good. But on top of that, it basically makes it to where you always have your crosscuts a perfect crosscut. So this means is if you are facing the boss's attack, I'll show you for a second here. If you're facing the boss's attack, then it'll give you what is called a perfect crosscut, right? So that will be a perfect crosscut. You're facing away from it, you can still crosscut it, but you won't get the enhanced crosscut. Now, enhanced crosscut does more damage, or perfect crosscut, it does more damage. Not only does it do more damage, it actually it gives you, well, that's pretty much it. It just does more damage. Sword's Will make it to where no matter what, no matter what you do, it's always going to give you a perfect crosscut. And we'll talk about damage numbers in a second. You'll see that that's actually very important. So you always want to have this procced, because SP management is not really a thing on this character either. Now, Wind Rider is one of the skills that you kind of really want to use a lot in party play, but in solo play, you really don't use this. Basically, what it does is it makes it to where whatever stack of blade heart that you have, it'll consume it, right? So you see how I just popped it, and it's on a fairly short cooldown, right? But let's say you get green, you can consume it as well. So we'll talk about how much SP it gives, but basically just know that this will consume your blade heart stacks and give you back SP. That's pretty much it. And since it's on pretty much like a 6-second cooldown, you're always going to be able to click this button as long as you have a blade heart stack. And that's cool, because that makes her SP management pretty much, like I said, non-existent, especially with how fast you can build back blade heart level 3. Now let's talk about slashing high. So again, it lasts 22 seconds. It gives you a movement speed and attack speed boost, where it basically boosts your attack speed, and it completely refills all of your stamina, and it also buffs your stamina regeneration to where basically you don't have to worry about stamina whatsoever. Now this is on a 30-second cooldown, right? But it lasts for 22 seconds, so you can pop this every 30 seconds pretty much, to where you can always be sitting. See right here, I have 78 attack speed. Now I always actually run one extra fast, but for the purpose of recording damage numbers and everything, I had to 78. But my normal attack speed is at 84, 85, something like that. But this will make it to where your attack speed is sitting again in like the 130s, 120s, whatever. So you want to basically have this active every single time that it is off of cooldown, because if you can fit more crosscuts in, or if you can fit in more of these smashes before the boss attacks you, or just dealing with animation canceling in general, that means you're going to be able to do more damage and you're going to feel less stuck. You're not going to have to commit too much, because Vella is already a very fast character. So you want to build this into your rotations. The only problem with it is that it costs like 3 bars of SP. Well, 2 to be exact. But I mean, Vella is a character where you can build SP extremely quickly. So you want to proc this pretty much every single time that you get the chance to. I don't know what that was all about, but so as you can see here, once you get to 2 bars, 3 bars. So all 3 bars here, you can proc your slashing high. Now this is a lot of SP to build, right? So you're probably not going to be able to pop this off of every 30 seconds, but there is a way to do so, and we'll talk about how to build her right to where you can maximize your DPS with this character. So that's these skills. Then you have Cyclone, that's her hold. Every time you pop Cyclone, you get a fresh stack of blue blade heart after you finish it. So if you like, I'll just show you for a second. So I pop this, and as you can see, my blade heart is going up, right? So again, that's very cool. And notice how this is proccing as well. All of these hits count towards a certain skill that we're gonna want to have on our build. But so since this is gonna automatically give you a blue level of blade heart, you want to make sure that you always, again, win Rider before you pop this. Same thing with Sword's Will. So if you notice with Sword's Will, if you pop this, it'll automatically give you 1 minute of having blue blade heart where it can't go away, right? So this is really cool. But as this cooldown goes down, again, every time you use Wind Rider, you automatically give yourself a certain amount of SP. So you're gonna want to make sure that you consume it right before it gets to 0, so that way you can get the SP, right? So that's some little tricks and tips with that. As far as Gale Cutter and Typhoon Slash, so these are 2 skills, this one here and then this one here. You never want to use these as active skills, which is the reason why I have them in this little slot, because I never use my Z button for anything. I never click that ever. If I am, is going to be to use that. That's it. Like any skill that you see right here, it's a skill that I never use. So how does Typhoon Slash work? So we'll go ahead and put this here, and I'll show you. So Typhoon Slash is the skill that basically after you press any heavy outside of your first, I say heavy, I mean smash. After you press any smash outside of this one, which means even if you hold it, right? This one is the only one that it does not work. So your second smash, which is this one, even though it's technically your first combo smash, these right here, that's your third one, and then your fourth one's here, right? So after you do any of those smashes and you hold down your right click, you can immediately go to Typhoon Slash. So that's it right there. So I'm left, right, hold R, right? No, get some SP. All right, so left, right, hold R, right? And that gives you Typhoon Slash. And whenever you do Typhoon Slash after a combo smash, it allows for you to basically do the last 3 hits in this, right? And they do the same damage and all of that. So this is basically a way to quick get to your last smash. Now, what's cool about Typhoon Slash is Typhoon Slash actually it can immediately be animation cancel, right? Right. So this is a good move to do if you're in the middle of a boss's patterns and you just want to get quickly to get that to that smash and then immediately crosscut something. So that's really important. Same thing with this one. You have to play this animation out, but it's such a fast animation. You can pretty much just automatically do that and then crosscut. Now, this one is very risky, right? Same thing with these, right? And especially that one. That one is horrible. Now, with this one here, that one's pretty safe. And that last one is pretty good. This one is a little bit not safe, but if you can get to that last one, you're pretty much guaranteed to get that cross cut off. But remember, Typhoon Slash is like you wanna do Typhoon Slash pretty much all the time, because again, that animation cancels with your crosscut. So if you do that, you can immediately cancel into that. So that's pretty much Typhoon Slash for you. It basically gives you a good little damage boost or whatever. Not damage boost, but it gives you some nice damage to where you can skip all of these lights, and it brings you immediately into your last smashes of your fifth light. 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean 4 lights. I'm tripping. So that's cool. Now let's talk about Gale Cutter. So Gale Cutter is this skill here. So basically what Gale Cutter does is it makes it to where it extends your iframes, because they're not block frames, they are iframes, and it makes it to where you can do damage while you're in those iframes. So I'll just go ahead and show you here. We'll do this. So let me just build some SP here. Right? So anytime you're sitting in crosscut and you do one, right, you can control these crosscuts, right? So this is your crosscut. Basically, you just press spacebar and you can sit in it for as long as you want, pretty much. And if you feel like you've been sitting in it too long, you can just press E and then go back into it again. So you can pretty much just sit in this as long as you want. So you don't really have to know a boss's timing whenever you're playing with Vella, because you can just kind of sit in it and then wait. And as the attack is about to hit you, you press your left click, right? And then you can press it again in order to do double cross, right? And then if you press your left click and your right click at the same time, you can do Gale Cutter, which is that one right there. And that's really cool. So all of this is iframes. So again, all of that is iframes. All of that is iframes, which means no boss can hit you while you're doing it. Through all of that time, nothing in the game can hit you unless it's an unblockable attack or some sort of like AoE like control, something like that. Like I can't really think of one right now, but it would just pretty much have to be an unblockable attack, right? So other than that, you're pretty much completely safe. And you can delay these to hold out, right, for a very long time. You can pretty much use her like backflips or whatever in order to decide like how long you want to sit in that. So you can pretty much negate any boss just by getting one cross cut off if you have the SP. So Gale Cutter is a really good move. And not only is it a really good move, it's also a really good damage. So that's pretty much everything about Vella within this kit here. So now since you pretty much have an idea of how to use Vella, as far as like active skills, we'll just go over her basic combos, which is left, right, left, right, right, left, right. It may look like that's a 2 hitting attack, but that's actually just one attack. That third smash, or the fourth smash, should I say? your third combo smash. So left, 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 right. All of that is one animation, right? And you can't cancel out of that unless you dodge, right? So, right? So that is the one of the only attacks where you can actually get out of that animation, which is your third smash, and you can get out of that anytime with the dodge, right? So, but you can't do that with your crosscut. So yeah, you can kind of negate that last hit right there with crosscut. If that makes sense, right? Right, but you always want to get that last hit and then crosscut if you're gonna go for this, because this is not really a good string for you unless you're trying to build SP, because it gives you the most SP for what it is, but nevertheless it's still too long of an animation that you have to sit in order to make it worth something. So this is your string that you never use ever ever. But your left right is good, your left left right right is good, and then your left 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 right 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 is good. But this is another one that you never really use, right? So yeah, that's pretty much everything about her kit. Again, you have crosscut, right? This is your cross stance. If you press E, you can immediately cancel out of it, so you can get used to that, right? You can pretty much sit in this forever. And if you press spacebar again, so twice, you do this slip away. Now if a projectile is thrown at you, you can actually send that projectile back at whoever the mob or the boss was that threw it at you, which is really cool. A lot of people don't use that now. It's kind of outdated because I don't see it working against like Laura orbs or something like that. But or even just like Now's little orbs. I don't see it working out. Actually, like I'll get the iframes, but I can't do anything about it. Now this attack actually does damage, so this is actually really cool, by the way. And it can crit. So that's pretty much everything in Vella's kit as far as like how her kit works. We're gonna talk in depth about all of her skills and basically all of that stuff. But that's pretty much Vella's kit. You have your crosscut stance, E to cancel out of it, right? So you can sit in that for a while. Again, if you press your left click, you can immediately cross cut, and then if you press it again, you can double cross. And if you press left stick and right stick at the same time after you do any one of them, so like for example, let me show you this here. All right, I don't have an attack, that's crazy. I won't have the SP for it, but we'll go ahead and do it one time. All right. Let's try to get it. All right, cool. So if you do, you can do one, and then you can actually do that as well. Then do it for a second, like that. So you can do one crosscut, and then you can go into Gale Cutter, because Gale Cutter will give you more damage than a crosscut. So if you know you'll only be able to do one crosscut into a Gale Cutter, that'll always be more DPS than just two crosscuts and then a third Gale Cutter. If that makes sense. Since Gale Cutter costs a lot of SP, it's something that you necessarily don't really want to spam, but if you have certain skills, you can do so. So that's pretty much everything about Vella's kit. If I'm forgetting anything, I'll go back here and then like talk about it again, but for the most part, that's her kit. So now since we're through with that, let's actually talk about some things about her kit. So here, if you're an experienced Vella player, all of this should be somewhat helpful to you if you didn't know, but this is basically a lot of the things that I was already saying about Vella. But here you go. So her dodge RR or her left left RR builds 68 SP. Since lights do not build SP, if you just dodge RR, it's going to give you the same damage, the same SP as it would if you simply just did LLRR. So this is the same damage for the most part, same SP for the most part. You're just losing a little bit more stamina, but who cares whenever you can sit in blue blade hard, and we'll talk about that in a second. And then your LLLR builds 80 SP, your LR builds 24 SP, and then your LLLL or R builds 49 SP. So that's why I say the only reason why you would ever use this is to get the 80 SP. But again, if you just dodge RR and then dodge RR, that's about the same speed as doing this. So that would be 136 SP if you just did dodge RR twice, which will be about the same speed as this. So again, fastest way to build SP is dodge or dodge RR. So yeah, one hit will give you, so if you hit anything once, it'll give you the regular blade heart, and that'll give you +7 speed. You get 7 hits, it'll give you green blade heart, that'll give you +10 speed, and then 1 stamina every hit. Now we'll talk about the hit system for Vella in a second, but 15 hits will give you blue blade heart, or if you just hit again, if you charge like this, that'll also give you that full blue blade heart. And blue blade heart gives you +14 speed and 2 stamina every hit. There's a lot of myths that go with Vella's crosscut, and I'll debunk all of those. You don't need to have blue blade heart in order to crosscut from behind you. You don't need to have blue blade heart in order to be able to do crosscuts twice or any. None of that is real. The problem with Vella is that if you're not hosting, or if you're not clicking your left click around the same time, it doesn't have to be exact, but around the same time that the boss is attacking you, you will not be able to crosscut certain things. Now, there are certain attacks that you cannot crosscut. Now, they have sharpened up on Vella quite a lot, and I have been able to crosscut pretty much everything outside of like a few AoE like projectiles. That's pretty much the only thing that you can't crosscut is projectiles. Now, Laura's like a wave, you can crosscut. So that's not a projectile, which in my opinion, I think it should be. It's an AoE move, but you can crosscut some of those things. So just know what you can and cannot crosscut, but you can crosscut things even though you're not facing it. You can crosscut it even if you're not looking at it. That's not how the skill works. The only difference between a regular crosscut and a perfect crosscut is that you're facing the boss's attack. And again, if you're sitting in Sword's Will, you don't need to face the boss's attack and you can still get a perfect crosscut. So that's debunking any sort of like weird things you've heard about crosscut. Now, if you consume your regular blade heart, it'll give you 50 SP. If you consume your green blade heart, it'll give you 125 SP. If you consume the blue blade heart, it'll give you 250 SP. 250 SP is basically a whole bar, pretty much. So you can give yourself a full bar of blue blade heart just by simply consuming it with Wind Rider, and that is this skill here, right? So this is what I mean when I say this character has no SP problems whatsoever. And again, blue blade heart gives you +14 speed and 2 stamina every hit that you do. Now, some do's and don'ts is you always want to consume Wind Rider, which is that skill, blade heart before popping Cyclone, which is again your hold. So anytime you're about to pop your hold, you want to consume first, so that way you can consume your stacks of blade heart really quickly. That makes sense. You always want to consume before popping Sword's Will as well, because again, it's going to give you a new set of blue blade heart that's going to be at 160 seconds pretty much. And if you pop Wind Rider before that, it'll consume whatever stacks you have, and then you can immediately do Sword's Will, which is going to give you that 60 seconds of blue blade heart that cannot be taken away by damage. You taking damage. So you always want to consume before popping this active. And you always want to consume before Sword's Will is about to be finished, because again, you want to be able to get that SP back for popping that skill. So yeah, the fastest way to get blue blade heart is LLRR if all hits land. And You lose 2 stamina for doing LLRR spam if you're in blue blade heart, which means this is a very effective like SP building skill rotation, should I say. Now if you do it with this, then you're going to be losing about like 8ish stamina every time you do dodge RR. So that's pretty hefty in stamina cost. So this will give you a lot of SP. It'll be really fast, but it's gonna cost you a lot of stamina. This is the most efficient way to build SP, but it's slower than this by a little bit. So you pick your poison with that. You lose 4 stamina for doing Typhoon / RRR spam in blue blade heart exclusively, which means if you're in your blue blade heart and you do Typhoon / RRR, you will only lose 4 stamina. So again, this is another very effective way to do damage without having to lose your stamina. Now, one thing about Typhoon Slash is if you do Typhoon Slash as an active skill, you cannot combo off of it like after it. So I want to make sure that's clear. So if you do again Z, I'm spamming R and you can't do anything after that, and you can't even go straight into your lights, right? So just know that. Same thing with Gale Cutter. It gives you this different animation that is very lame and trash, and it puts this on a 2-minute cooldown. So as you can see, you never want to use these as active skills ever, right? So yeah, that's trash. I just want to make sure that that was said. I might have skipped over that. So yeah, what I mean by Typhoon / RRR spam is like this, and then you press your Typhoon / after that. So that's what I mean by that, by the way. So let's say you do LR Typhoon / RRR Typhoon / RRR Typhoon / RRR by holding R, you will only lose 4 stamina every time you do a full stack of this, right? So you will lose 10 stamina for crosscut naturally, but you lose no stamina for crosscut or Gale Cutter in blue blade heart, which means you can do crosscut, Gale Cutter as much as you want and you will lose no stamina. Matter of fact, you will gain stamina by actually knowing the boss's patterns and doing this. So this is a very again good way to micromanage your stamina, which again, Vella doesn't have stamina problems, but this is one of the reasons why, if you wanted to know. So you lose 36 SP for doing, again, Typhoon / RRR, this thing right here, right? And it costs 85 SP to do Typhoon / in general, but if you finish this, you will only lose 36. But you have to spend 85 to do Typhoon / if you do it like this, LR, and then you hold them. But if you do it from here, it'll actually, from the active, I think it'll cost more SP as well. So you never want to use that as an active. You only want to do it after you do a smash. So blue blade heart crosscut gives you 30 SP, and green blade heart crosscut will give you 20 SP. So again, blade heart will not only give you great damage, crosscut and blade heart will not only give you great damage, but it'll also give you SP, which is important because you need SP in order to do, again, Typhoon / RRR if the boss is not attacking you or in between his gaps. Lights don't give SP, and the fastest way to build SP is dodge RRR. So since we got through all of that, you can just kind of screenshot that and keep that in mind for your playthrough of the character. Now let's actually talk about damage calculations. So this was done on Bull Tower 10, and these were my stats during my testing for these damage numbers. So if you want to check it yourself, you can do that as well. So let's talk about it. So this is the attack that I did. So this is your first smash. So this is your gut sting. This is your left right. This is your left right right. This is your left. So left right, and this is your left right. You get what I'm saying? This is your dodge R. This is your crosscut. This is your perfect crosscut, right? And this stands for the first hit. This stands for the second hit. First hit, second hit, first hit, second hit, first hit, second hit. Gale Cutter, it hits 3 times, and y'all crit. Slip away. This is your spacebar, the move that can deflect projectiles, right? So that's that. And then Typhoon Slash. This is the first hit of Typhoon Slash. So anytime you hold R while you're doing any one of these, right? Except this first smash here, your Typhoon Slash will hit twice. And then the next smash, which is going to be basically the same thing as these, right? So as you can see, the numbers are the exact same, right? That's because it's basically giving you, it's skipping all of this to get you right here. So yeah. And then we actually have a few combos here that are just your bread and butter combos. So if you do left to right R, it's going to give you this much damage. If you do left right R, it's going to give you this much damage. And if you do dodge RR, Typhoon Slash. So this R here, this stands for Typhoon Slash. So I'm holding R. So if you do dodge RR, and then you hold R, it'll give you this much damage. So left right Typhoon Slash, left right Typhoon Slash, dodge RR, Typhoon Slash, and then you finish out. So now as far as what this means, this is how much damage it does just if it hits, right? And this is how many times it hits. So your second smash, well, basically LR, it'll hit 3 times, right? Your second light will hit twice, and then your third smash will hit 3 times, and then your second to third smash will hit twice. So this is the reason why LLRR twice gives you, again, Blue Blade Heart, because it's 15 hits, right? So if you do the math on that, that'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right? So that is the reason why this will always give you Blue Blade Heart if you do it twice. So again, this is why these moves are kind of good to spam just for crit ability, which, as you can see here, the differences between these two are going to be pretty huge if you can get these to crit. So and not only that, we'll talk about something else about her kit, and how you actually can try to maximize your chance to proc certain abilities. So that's pretty much, if any one of these hits hit, this is how much damage it's going to do with these stats. This is your crit damage, which means if this attack crits, this is how much damage it'll do, right? Except I didn't do that here because you already know what all of these will do just from this chart here, so I didn't put that again here. That was just kind of pointless. And then finish combo and finish crit combo, basically what this means is if everything landed, this is how much damage it's going to do. So your light smash, it'll do that much damage. Your light smash, hitting 3 times, it'll do this much damage. Your light heavy light smash will do this much damage. And if the heavies crit, because lights can't crit, if your heavies crit, then this is how much damage it's going to do, right? If everything crit, and this is if nothing crit. So the reason why I made this chart is basically to show your damage potential, the differences between these two. So you can basically like take these two numbers, find the median, and that can be like, if you have 50% crit chance on a boss, you can basically just take these two numbers, add them together, divide it into 2, and you can use it as your median for like, okay, I can pretty much guarantee myself to at least do this much throughout a fight. If you have 50% crit chance, even though that's not how it works, but if you want to find a better number for how damage is going to be for Vella, I just like to use this because this is more accurate. This is basically like the lowest amount of damage that you're going to do, guaranteed. So just kind of ignore this. This is here just to kind of let you know your damage potential if everything crit and you got lucky. This is your guaranteed damage, pretty much. So again, if this light lands, this light lands, and all of this lands, so this is your LLLLRRR, you're guaranteed this much damage. Now, if everything crit in that, this is how much damage you're guaranteed, right? Now, look at this. These are 3 hits and then 2 hits. that's how much damage you're guaranteed to get. So as you can just see from reading this chart, you can see what's optimal from her kit. And then Gale Cutter, you're guaranteed this much damage, right? Which does much more damage than pretty much everything in her kit aside of getting this. So remember how we talked about how Typhoon Slash is a very good move. So look at how much just basically holding R after you do LR and then hold R. This will automatically give you 20, basically 30k damage, which is, again, if you look at this, that's like if you did LLLR or LLRR. You just lose 7k if you do LLRR. So it's not better damage than this, but for the amount of time that it takes to do this, and if you can just get one more R off, you're automatically going to be doing just as much damage. So look at how much damage this does, right? And then look at how much damage this does. So LR and then Typhoon Slash will automatically give you more damage than everything else in your kit outside of a crosscut, a Gale Cutter. So if you're trying to do the most amount of damage possible, always, so I'm spending time on this because I see a lot of people in their runs, even in people who are like soloing Taros, you're doing a lot of like extra stuff that should not be done. It's like sloppy. If you just do LR and then Typhoon Slash, you're always going to have more damage than if you do LLRR, right? So, and if you're trying to build SP, you're better off just doing dodge smash, right? Instead of doing this, because this will be quicker and you kind of take away the lights, which again, it's like, okay, what are you trying to do? This is how much damage your lights are going to give you, right? So that's your first light, your second light. That's that much damage. How much time it actually takes to get those off versus how much time it takes to dodge and then immediately get this smash off, right? You can kind of see the difference there, right? So you're only losing about 3k damage here if you can see that. So this is much better to do, even though you're going to be tanking a little bit of your stamina. This is going to build SP much quicker, which is all you need, because as long as you have SP, you can simply refill your stamina with slashing high. So you don't have any stamina problems. So there's no need to ever do LLRR unless you're quickly trying to get Blade Hard level 30. That's the only time. If you're trying to build SP, just dodge RR. If you're trying to do damage, LR, hold R, and then try to finish out as much of this as you can, and then go into Gale Cutter, crosscut, whatever, right? So that's pretty much what I found from my damage calculations. So if you're one of those people who are trying to look for min-max DPS, there's no need to do this string here. So light, RRR. There's no need to do that because this is how much damage you're guaranteed, right? And then look at just doing one Typhoon Slash, right? So if you do just LR and then Typhoon Slash and then you do the next hits, this is how much damage it's going to do, which is out damaging everything else in your kit, right? So just Typhoon Slash with the next 3 smashes is going to give you this much damage guaranteed. So look at your damage potential with this compared to everything else in your arsenal. So getting off Typhoon Slash into your RRR is always going to be better than anything else in your kit. So your only goal with Vella is going to be to build SP, so that way you can get Typhoon Slash to proc, because again, remember, you're going to need 85 to do it, and you're going to lose 37, 36, 36 for doing this, right? So SP is your only thing that you need in order to do maximum DPS with Vella. So because of that, you need to have SP like crazy. But it doesn't really matter because you can build SP really, really fast with her just by doing this. So this will again build you like 148 if you do LLLR and then dodge RR. So if you wanted to do this string just for the extra, you could do that for the extra little 10. But again, dodge RR is going to give you that immediate 136 SP, and that's going to be much faster than doing this. So 136 SP is a lot for Vella because she can do a lot with that. So just keep that in mind whenever you're looking for min-max like DPM and stuff like that. just know Typhoon Slash is your go-to. Like, just this first attack here, it hits twice. Look at how much damage that is compared to everything else in your kit. If you can just get one more smash off, that's more damage than pretty much everything else in your kit outside of finishing a super long string. So as you can see here, this damage potential is much greater than everything else that you have. So you always want to do your quickest smash into your RR. And again, for this here, this is your first smash, so this is your gust thing. Now it charges, right? So if you get the first charge, that's how much damage you're guaranteed to get. Second, that's how much damage you're guaranteed to get. Guaranteed. This is if it crits. So again, if you can get that last charge to crit, that's immediately 48k. If you look at everything else in here, look at that. And this is, remember, this is finished combo, right? Now look at the crit combo. So this is not bad DPS. If, let's say if Laura it teleported, right? Nothing in your kit, if it hit like twice, right? Outside of this fourth light here, is going to give you as much damage as this would if it crit once. So it's actually really good. And even if it doesn't crit, you're still going to get that 24k, right? But the benefit of automatically being able to, so let's say Laura teleported, right? And she's teleporting and she's going to come back and she's going to do the little swing, where she swings and then she basically pauses, right? So let's say that happened. You can immediately win Rider to give yourself however much SP you need, and then immediately start charging Blade, gusting, I mean. And if that crits, then you get that really quick hit, immediately go into your crosscut, and you basically have now blue Blade Heart, even though you just spent the skill. So you need to actually use this, because this is good damage, good burst damage of feeding things in those small cracks. It's not going to out damage, like I said, these things if they crit. So if you want to do like LLRR, again, if this hits, that's how much damage you're guaranteed, but that's not more damage than this, as you can see, right? So, but let's say if you can get these to hit and then these to hit, then now you're looking at something, right? As compared to that. But let's say if you're here, that's not going to give you more damage than that. So you're probably only going to be able to get maybe like one of these off, or if you can get the last hit off, then okay, yes, that's good damage, right? If it crits, right? Because that's about the same as this. That's like pretty much like 60k. This is around like 50k. So if you can get this last hit off after something teleported and you're trying to fit in some quick burst DPS, this is good. But the problem is this will not automatically give you a full stack of Blade Heart level 3, which is blue, right? So fit this in, because this is good damage if it crits. And yeah, so try to actually use that to min max a little bit more. Gale Cutter hits 3 times, so you always want to do this. So remember how we talked about how crosscut is some really nice DPS, right? So you can't look at it like this, because again, crosscut will hit twice, right? So this is your first hit if it crits. This is your second hit if it crits. If it's enhanced, which means you're facing the target, or if you're sitting in towards will, it'll hit for this much, and then it'll hit for this much if it crits. So this is a huge damage potential, right? So as you can see, compared to this, both of these attacks will do nothing compared to this guaranteed if this crit. So again, like I said, if you know that the boss, you can only get in 2 crosscuts, instead of doing 2 crosscuts, do 1 crosscut into a Gale Cutter, and that'll basically give you this, and let's say all of this crit and that. So as you can see, the damage potential with these, 1 crosscut, which is, and your first crosscut always will do more damage than your second one. So again, min-maxing here, if you get this first crosscut off and then you immediately go into Gale Cutter, you get all of these 3 to land. Let's just take guaranteed damage, right? So this into that, right? That's so much more damage than doing 2 of these and then this being here and then missing, right? Because let's say again you're in between the boss's patterns, you crosscut once, Gale Cutter, and then you immediately go into crosscut again, and then double crosscut, and then get another Gale Cutter. You need to fit as much damage as you can in those small gaps. So get use of cross-cutting into Gale Cutter in order to min-max your DPS, because you will absolutely do so much more damage than somebody who's just double crosscut, spacebar, double crosscut, spacebar, double crosscut, and then after the boss's pattern is finished, then they finally do a Gale Cutter at the end. Now this will tank your SP, but again, like I said, if you build Vella right, you don't have to worry about SP. So now since we went over all of this, you can again kind of screenshot or take your own pictures or whatever, so you can kind of get how this all works. So hopefully you enjoyed that part. That's her damage calculations. Now let's actually talk about basically like how her kit should be built, because she's a character where you have to build her correctly. So let's go here. And again, like I said, I am kind of only having the 78 just for the sake of the video, for the balance, but I normally sit at 84, and once I can get this to plus 15, hopefully soon, we're going to be able to kind of go crazy with that. So yeah, you want to have as much speed as you can on Vella, because Vella is not a character where, like Donna, where if you have faster attack speed, you lose more stamina. She's a character where the faster your speed is, the more stamina you can get back, actually. So you want to stack as much stamina as possible on her, and that's pretty much it. So you want to have as much fast as you can, as long as you can QB things. Literally, speed is king with this character. She's already a naturally fast character, and again, you kind of want to negate being able to get out of these smashes that you can't animation cancel with crosscut or dodge, except this third one here, right? And that's pretty much it. So because she's naturally fast, you don't really feel that, but if you're fighting a fast boss, you're going to feel that. You're going to need to have that sharp. So build your attack speed as high as you can with this character. Now you need to have Berserker on this build. Where is that? I think it's here. It might be here. It's here. Yeah, Berserker. You need to have Berserker on your build, guaranteed, because if you don't, then you're gonna be in a bind, obviously. Now let's talk about this. So I actually tested these two out, and at first I was using Resolved and Order. Now these are really cheap scrolls. You can get these really easily, but basically what it does is it gives you a chance to stroll, gives you a chance to boost your attack speed. I don't know what that percentage is, but I know, again, if you look at Vella, if you look at Vella's kit, since so many things hit multiple times, like even her second light hits twice, right? This hits 3 times and this hits twice. So if you look at a character like that, and then you're just like, man, that's a lot of hits, right? If you just do LLRR and then into Typhoon slash, which hits twice, and then you get 2 smashes and then another hit that hits twice, you can get some extremely good chances to proc this ability, right? So again, you just take this character and you do, like I said, let me go ahead and get in here quick second. Alright, cool. I should do this. So we'll be looking here at just building that stroll, getting that attack speed to proc, and you'll see it here. It'll say nimble. So again, LLRR, it already procced, right? So, and if you did that, and see it procced again, right? So you're pretty much always going to be sitting in this. Now if you just do Typhoon slash, as you can see, you're going to have to get mad unlucky for this not to finish, right? So it's pretty much going to be active, like I would say maybe I don't know, it all depends. It it'll be active maybe like 40% of the fight for the most part if you get lucky. But for how much you can proc that skill, it's going to be really, really good for you. So if you can put on the scrolls that are the upgraded version of Quiet and Stroll, I think it's Outburst and Dash. You can put those on, definitely go for it, because that's immediately going to give you such a huge damage potential boost, which is my next things that I actually want to put on Vella before anything else, because this is going to determine my damage so much more, because that means I won't have to do as many SP rotations. I can just do full damage rotations. And then we are looking at Quiet here. You just want to have it just for the attack speed, and then the balance. The balance is really good because you need balance in order to put on fast. But it also gives you a chance to recover 125 SP. Now remember, 125 SP is a lot, because that allows you to pretty much do, if you really think about it, 2 Typhoon slashes. So if this procs just once, and you'll see it proc, it'll show up really quickly. I'll just go ahead and you can proc out here too. See, so that's nimble. I'm waiting for the other one to proc. Right there. So it procced, right? This will happen, like, as you can see, that's twice now. So like, it's gonna happen a lot. And like I said, if you put on Outburst and it'll have a higher chance of proccing, you're looking at extremely easy SP building. And again, the more SP that you have, the more you can pop Slashing High, and the more you can pop your Sword's Will, and also the more that you can spam Gale Cutter and Typhoon Slash. Since Gale Cutter and Typhoon Slash cost so much SP to do, you really kind of want to get in the habit of using those. So I would say the first thing that you want to have on your build is try to go for a dash and then an outburst. But if you can't afford those, then Quiet and Stroll. You can put those 2 on. You're looking at a very, very, very good boost to your overall damage. This will give you more of a boost than some crit rate or some balance or anything. You need attack speed, and you need these 2 scrolls. And if you can afford the upgraded versions, that's going to give you more damage than anything else, because you'll be able to have a much easier upkeep. It's going to make your whole kit pretty much just non-existent management. You usually get to spam it whenever, right? Now, there's a few more little tricks that I need to show here. So we'll just kind of get myself a little bit here. And as you can see, that right there, Gale Cutter costs quite a bit of SP, right? But not too much. You can pretty much build it back with one of these, right? So yeah, Gale Cutter is going to be something that you pretty much want to spam whenever you can, right? So yeah. So now since I have a good bit of SP here, what you kind of want to like learn to do with Vella is this right here. So if you pop Slashing High and you move, you immediately pop it, right? So you need to get in the habit of popping Slashing High while moving and then stopping. And then let's say if you pop that and then your Wind Rider, same thing as well. So I'll just actually put these on infinite now to show you. So you could do something like this. So let's just say I get this. All right, cool. So you can do something like this. Right? And you just popped all of those, right? This is really, really important because it allows for you to pop these skills without you having to sit and wait throughout those animations. So basically what I did, I just moved, clicked the button, and I stopped, right? So you can actually animation cancel these, and this is really important for her kit because you need to do this in order to min-max and fit these skills in at the easiest time. So again, I'll kind of show one more time here. So yeah. Say you wanted to pop this, pop this, pop this, and then immediately get back into your damage, right? So yeah, get used to that. Basically, all that I'm doing is I'm moving, pressing the active skill, whatever your keybind is, stop it after you press it, or you can actually just continually move through all of them. You can literally do like this. Let me just get myself here so you can do bomb, 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 right? Yeah, if you stop, it means you don't have to play that animation out, so you can move, stop, move, stop, move, stop, and then press the button, and it'll allow for you to get all of these 3 off really quickly, which is what I normally do. So if I know I'm in slashing hard, or if I'm at blue blade heart and the boss is about to go away, I'll just go ahead and pop this, go into my slashing high really quick, and then I'll pop my sword tool if it's off the cooldown. So that's pretty much everything about Vella. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. This was a pretty long video. I'm not sure what the length of it is, but thank you guys for watching. That is my guide to Vella. You just kind of counter attack everything because this gives you a lot of damage. Try to fit as many Gale cutters and Typhoon slashes in as you possibly can. Again, getting those scrolls is going to help you to be able to help upkeep your SP as much as possible, and that'll allow for you to basically have god tier DPS with this character. And then again, as far as like attack speed rotations is, if you notice that you have nimble proc, don't pop slashing high. And I always run werewolf paw because I kind of use the nimble as like my second form of slashing high, if that makes sense. So I can basically have 100% uptime on my speed being at 130 something by simply looking at my screen here. And if I see nimble, I will not pop slashing high, and I will not pop my werewolf paw. Eventually, once I get greater werewolf paw, that'll be great. But you kind of use that to cycle, and that'll be your rotation. Just pay attention to your character's kit, and you'll be able to sit at 130 attack speed the whole game, which makes it to where you don't feel anything. You can react to everything, which is very delicious. And the higher you get your attack speed, the more crosscuts, the more Gale cutters you can fit, and again, the more chances you have of proccing SP skills and that nimble as well. So build attack speed, get these scrolls, get the upgraded version of these scrolls, get werewolf paw, and then go to town on the boss. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. It's Zuko, and we are out. Deuces.